Potty Retro Man presents.
Hi, right, like most people, I mean, I was 12 years old, 12, 13 years old when I got my first ZX Spectrum computer. And when I was turned it on, connected it to the TV, I was shown this, obviously, copyright 1982, Sinclair Research Limited. Okay, and the first thing that most people do when you get onto the thing is this. 10, print, speech marks, hello, return. 20, go to 10. And you go, run that, and you get scroll, and you think, oh, wow. So then you fiddle about with different colours, borders, and I did quite a few little things of my own, which various different programs. However, this video I'm going to do is going to show you the videos that I used to play on when I was younger. The first one is this one. Horace goes skiing. Okay, now Horace goes skiing, which is this game here. This became available with 5 other games I got. I got Scrabble. What was the other one? Make a Chip, which I think most people got Make a Chip. You know, it was one of the most common ones that you ever got. Checkered Flag, that was a really good one. Checkered Flag, I really enjoyed that game. In fact, I played that one the other day as well on the emulator. That was, you know, obviously not a patch on the games these days, but for the time it was absolutely awesome. There were the other one, Survival. That was a basic one. All right, but no, nothing brilliant. And chess. Chess was okay. That was quite a decent game if you like playing chess. If you don't like playing chess, it wasn't very good. Horace, as I don't know if you may be aware. If you don't, I'll explain. Horace was one of the a bit like Super Mario on Nintendo, you know, and Sonic on the Sega Mega Drive. Horace was a well-known character on the Spectrum, you know, and he did basically 3 games. There was this one, Horace Goes Skiing, which was the first game I ever played. There was also Hungry Horace, where you got chased by a person in the park keeper, and there was also Horace and the Spiders. Now that Horace and the Spiders was quite a good game. The graphics and the sound on it were really good, and I shall probably play them later on as well. But for now, I'll show you the Horace Goes Skiing one. The whole idea was you got you started off with this coloured screen going on, and then the idea was you had to get across the road, which was a bit like a Froggy kind of game. So you had to get across the road like that, collect your skis, so ski hire £10, $10 or whatever it is. Oops, and then you get run over by an ambulance, so the ambulance then gives you a fee. So you got to try and, you know, get across, like I said, get across the road. Lots of fast traffic. Whoa, and here we go again. The ambulance. I've not played this game for absolute donkeys. And the thing with these Spectrum games is that, you know, games these days are quite easy to load up. You know, just load them instantly like I did there. But in the old time, yeah. Now this is a bit of a coincidence that the ambulance is knocking me over again. If I get knocked over by another ambulance, that will be a first for me because I've never done that. And as you can see, the colours of Horace are green. It flickers a bit as well, which is what it did on the original game. Oh, no, I got run over with a motorbike. As you can tell, I'm doing really well on this game. The first time, I think I managed to do something. Sorry, no money, no ski. So let's just try another one. I mean, I might cut the bits out until I actually manage to get across. Oops. Well, that weren't very good because I didn't realise I'd started going across, but never mind. Yeah, this bit's probably going to get cut out on how not to play Horace and Go Skiing. My daughter's looking at me as if to say, why am I playing a Spectrum game? Yes, I've got some skis. Let's do a bit of skiing. Yeah, she loves these old games. She absolutely. You know, what do you call it? Here we go. First time here. Yes, let's get skiing. So when you go straight down, it goes a lot faster. So, and the idea you've got to keep skiing in between the red and the blue flags, because if you don't, you sort of lose a point. And these little jumps there, they're like mounting the thing, and they keep throwing you that way. And the other idea is you've got to avoid the trees. If you hit a tree first time, it says skis okay. The second time, though, if you hit them like that, the skis are still okay. If you hit it again, though, your skis end up breaking, and then you have to go all the way back to the beginning, cross the road, get some more money, and do, you know, there we are. So it's beat there. Oh, I've been proven wrong. Twice you can do it. And then I think when you get to the end, of the, oh yeah, bad luck, skis broken. If you do get to the end though, you get sort of chance to do it all again. So I'm not going to bother with that one too much because that's basically all it is. You know, very basic game, very simple. But then again, it was made in 1982. It was a very, very old game. So you're talking now what, 82, 92, 22. You're talking 26 years old, 27 years old. In fact, no, it's probably older than that. Yeah, 28 years old. No, 20. 30, oh, I don't know. I've lost count. Probably 28. Yeah, 28. I think. Okay, now this one is Checkered Flag that I used to play, one of the games that came with it as well. Tried to find the chess game, but I can't find that one, so I thought I'll do the Checkered Flag one, because to be honest, chess is chess really, you know, basic graphics. One of my favourites on this one is a Paul Ricard one, which is down here. So you press space and then select enter. So Paul Ricard is one which has got a really, really long run. So it says enter number of laps, well, put 3. And then you've got Ferrari, Pegasus, or Cyan, whichever they call it, but faster special or Ferretti Turbo. I believe Ferretti Turbo, I think, is what we used to use. So you've got buttons A, S, D, F do the steering. So A and F do a quick steering left. S and D do a shallow steering left. And I can't remember which. I think. Oh yeah. So yeah. So you've got 0 and O do the accelerator and the brake. And I'm trying to think what it is to change gears. I can't remember. I can't remember what it is to change gears. And if you keep revving it too much, the engine will actually, sometimes it will just blow up. I'm just going to prove it wrong now, what it used to. That's the pause key. Oh, the letter M. And if you do that, you basically get into a skid when you run over the oil. And then obviously if you want to change it down into the previous gear, you've got to go down in the gears, because if you don't, what it does, it blows your engine up. So you brake, just hit a stone there, and that used to constitute going over a hill. That little bit of blue there, and I think this is a bit where you sort of fly fast. Oh, I'm in first gear. That's really good, you know. So, and then now you see when you run over that little bit of glass there quickly, what it's done is it's ruined the tyres, and you can see by the little wobble there, it's just showing that there's a problem with the and now you can hear it, the noise, you know, it's yeah, it's a bit poorly, so it's not going to run properly. Checkered Flag, yeah, like I said, basic game, you know, played for quite a while on this one, but to be honest, I got a bit bored with it. It was simple, you know, nothing spectacular. And you know, that's that game. So we'll go to the next game. Okay, now this was one of the very first games I ever bought from a shop. I bought it from a place called Woodhouse Electrical, and unfortunately they don't exist anymore. But I used to get the game from them the day before, or the evening before they were released in like the Waitsmiths and that type of place. You know, they were really good. This game is Apple Jam. And it was a game created by DK Tronics, and DK Tronics also used to do keyboards and things like that. You know, they were really good. You know, they had some really fantastic keyboards. The games, you know, not exactly brilliant. You know, I'm just going to move that over there because obviously I'm not looking directly at you, because where the screen is, my screen's like that, and the game was sort of there. You know, so that's why I was looking that way, looking at the game and stuff. So. Basically a very simple game, this one. So you've got you know, you can alter the keys if you want. So let's change the keys. So I'll have 8 Q, W, and then pause. Okay, so the idea of Apple Jam is you control this little person here, the little person there, and when I press a button, his feet will start getting, sort of tapping on the floor like this, and at the bottom there's a little rat. And the whole idea is it says apple and jam. That's the name of the game, Apple Jam. What you're meant to do is eat all the bits that fall down, but you can only eat a couple at a time, or 3. So go into the sauna to get less. Now the other problem now is you get a rat coming up, splat. So if the rat gets you, because you're a tiny person and the rat gets very, very big, it's like a killer rat and it gets you. And part of the problem is you've got, like I say, you've got to stop the rat from eating you. So when you play on this one, you get so far with this as well, so you keep eating these things. After a while, there'll be a big bee. If I can play this game nicely enough. Or sometimes, if you don't time it, there you go, that's a big killer bee thing. Now, best thing to do is just stand in there, because that bee can't get you either. Although the rat can. So, back into the sauna. And then back into sauna again to avoid the bee, so you can't actually eat anything while you're in there. And then sometimes, if the bee will sometimes come when you're in the middle of eating something like that, and it'll make you jump, but you think, oh, I'm going to hold you up and get quick with this. Again, so that's Apple Jam by DK Tronics. Now here's a game that you've probably all seen before, Chuckie Egg. This was another very famous game on the Spectrum. There was different cassette inlays for the game. Really good game. Really find the keys. Up, down, left, right, jump. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this game because on level, I believe it's level 3, there was actually a bit of a bug that I don't think many people know about. And what it is a part on the level, what you can do is you can run across the first part, like jump across the first bit, run across to the other part, and what you can do is you go up the first ladder, and where the where one of the bird is, you actually run through the bird. Again, this is a bit of a tricky level, but the idea is there's like a set pattern for doing different stuff, so you have to run across here, oops. And for anybody not familiar with Chucky Egg, what it is, there's all bird seed on the floor and eggs. So the idea is you've got to get all these eggs, collect all the eggs, but if you eat bird seed, it stops the timer for a little bit. And if the timer runs out, then obviously game up, it's like you lose a life. However, luckily I've not done that. Now, I'm not remember if it's this one or not. Yeah, this is the one. So, what you do, jump across there, run across, straight across, and there you go, straight through the bird. And I've never seen it being mentioned anywhere, on any forums or anything. So that's a bit of a little tip for you there, if you've never seen it before. You probably don't want to play it again. But again, that's Chucky Egg. That was one of the first game that I bought along with Apple Jam. So that was game number 2. So I basically bought those 2 games exactly at the same time. And yes, I've still got them. Okay, now this game was a game that my dad acquired for me, if you like, with some of the games that were put onto a tape cassette. Now, okay, people can call it piracy or whatever, but at the end of the day, it was very funny, infancy style, and I got loads and loads and loads of games that I bought original, after that. However, this game is kind of a bit of a strange one. You've got Mick Mechanic and the Arabs. The idea is that you're trying to fill the cars and pinch the oil, if you like, to fill the cars up. So you have to, first of all, collect a can, and then you play the game. I'll show you. Right, I'm going to pause this one. And again, if you press the enter key, it gets rid of the music, and the music is really annoying. However, to put the stuff in, it's a little bit tricky because, like I say, you've got to click that first, the little oil petrol can. Now, luckily, I've got up there. So you go across there, walk across there, and then these oil, for some reason, it's an endless supply of oil. So what you do, you go in. The other thing you can do is like put a little bit of oil on the floor, and it will actually stop the. You can Yeah, so that basically stops the Arabs. No, flipping egg. Now I'm hoping that right, so that should be alright. If I get rid of them, what is it? Knocks them off. So 1, 2, 3, 4 drops on there. Now, there's something to do with those things there that you spanners. If you do something with the spanners, it keeps the Arabs happy if you tie them up or do something. So, like, if you return them back, it keeps them happy. Now, I've never bothered with any of them. You know, I've not bothered with doing anything like that. All I've done is just collected this, put the oil in, jump across and hope for best. Now, obviously, because you die, it still retains the amount of oil in your can. So there we go. You can see there. You start off with like a basic car, which is a little mini. As you progress through the levels, you get other things. You get things like sports cars. I mean, I don't know if there's any particular one. Music. So you put music in, it slows the game down. And I don't know if it's because it's the emulator. I'm trying to grab the thing now. There we go. Wee boing. And again, like I said, there's quite a few levels to this game. It's not brilliant, but it's one of the games I used to enjoy playing, and it's a good game for wasting quite a lot of time. You know, like I say, for the time, very advanced, because some of the games that that were released afterwards weren't as good anyway. Okay, back to Horace, and here we have Hungry Horace. I've paused this game because obviously the noise if I'm trying to talk to you and explain what it is, very noisy. But again, copyright 1982 by Beam Software. Pressing a key to start play. So let's unpause it and we'll start the keys. And again, these are similar keys to before. QZ, I and P. You know, left, right, up, down, all that type of stuff. Now this thing, you've got to be very careful on here because it takes you ages to get through there. And if the keeper, see, you come straight through. But if you try and go through, it takes you absolutely ages to get through. Now, there's a noise, obviously, this bell that drives them mad. So the idea is you get it, and I don't know if you saw that, the bit of a strawberry. Now what it is the keeper drops his food. Now he still have, there you go, like so there he dropped his strawberry because that's his dinner. He likes having strawberries for his dinner amongst other things. And they like so the whole idea, you progress to the next one, and then there you go again, the bell's rattling again. After a while you'll see another park keeper come on. Unless you get this in time. And there you go, you see the other one? So it takes absolutely ages to go through the thing. And now look, you have to sort of go through all the different bits and try and work out where the quick parts are so you don't get caught. And as you can see, I'm not doing very well at the minute. But we get on to the next one. Now this is the really tricky one. Because what you've got to do, the idea is you've got to try and get the keeper to come towards you, and you've got to try and escape one way or the other to the other side. Now, hoping that he doesn't follow you, because if he follows you, there's a more chance that he's going to catch up with you because they're a little bit quicker than you that going up here. Now, I'm lucky to this first time because most of the time, you wait for them because you go all the way up. They come from here, from the bottom bit, all the way to the top bit. So you have to then go way down at the bottom, and then you end up with two keepers at this point. Now, I can't be bothered at the minute to do this, so what I'm going to do is look this one. Now, this is the one that's a bit tricky because straight away, they come for you. Well, normally they come straight for you, like that. And you can't get past it. And it's so frustrating because it's such a good game. Simple, basic, a bit like PacMan type of thing. Next. No, I'm going to pause. Yes, sticking with the Horace theme, I thought let's do the last one. Horace and the Spider. Well, it should be Horace and the Spiders. But for some reason they can't get the wording on there. So, here we go. Horace and the Spiders. Start off running towards the... well, it's like a chasm that you go to. Here we go. So you have to go on the end bit. And then you've got to jump across these spider's webs. Or this... Not spider webs, the spider thing that... But you have to keep jumping because the spiders keep pulling you up. So the idea is you have to keep jumping across there, jumping from one to the other. and then you press the down button to get down to the side. Now this is the part that's really good because the graphics on this one I think are really good. And then you get in here and jump, 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 jump. But because I put one below it, you have to then go down to that one. Boing, boing, boing. There we go. So along we go. So then that one falls in there again. So you jump that one down there. The quickest way to get around them, if you've just done one though, is to walk to the side of it and do it. Because if you don't, it takes ages. And oh, that will okay. Because normally gets you. So what you do is when you complete it, you get 1 extra 7. Now, so if the spiders get you, they touch you, you lose the 7 because it's a bit like, you know, they're sort of poisonous spiders, if you like. Or for some reason, if you jump onto the that jump that we just done there, if you don't time that correctly, you lose a 7. Why, I don't know. Nice, see, like that. Took it all the way to the top, 1 7 less because the spider got me. And that basically is Horace and the spiders. Now you carry on, and you end up with more spiders. You know, end up with more. I think it's about 5 spiders at one point, and then you end up with another 5 or 7 spiders. Great game, and I've got all them in my little collection that I've got of Spectrum games. I've not got many left, but I decided to keep. I've got to keep all the 3 Horace ones because they're really good. Okay, this one, School Days. Absolutely love this game. Played this game for absolutely ages. I'll just turn the volume down a little bit so you can hear better if you're speaking. Starts off, they're all running like mad. The whole idea of the game, of this one, is that you control a main character called Eric. And Eric's that person there just running down the steps, going back up there, because he follows a central character. When in the demo mode, he follows round a certain person. Okay, now this one's got quite a few different keys. You've got up, down, left, right. You've got a shift key which makes them run. You've got 0 or F for firing a catapult. You've got J to jump. You get lines from the teachers if you jump, if they see you jumping, sitting on the floor, firing your catapult, that type of stuff. The whole idea of the game, first of all, is to highlight or hit, if you like, all those little shields. So you can see on there's a blue one and a red one on the top left corner, and the top left corner is where the head teacher called Mr. Whacker. That's where he stays basically. He's in there. We've got all different rooms, and the ones on the middle row here, what the idea is, what you get with those is you hit people and jump on the heads, and then you can jump up and highlight or hit the shield. The ones on the bottom, you have to do the catapult and then bounce the catapult off the teacher's heads, because you can't do it to anybody else. It's got to be the teachers. Okay, now this game, like I say, I've played for absolutely ages. Once you've done that, once you've lit all the shields, you've then got to get the code off on all the teachers. And then when you do that, you have to write on a blackboard and put in the code. Now, the only slight problem with the code is that one of the teachers, what's his name? The old one. I'll remember his name in a minute. He's forgotten his year of birth or something, or whatever it is. So he was born in a certain battle. So it'll say what happened in the year that I was born. So someone, Einstein, who's a Swart, he will say, "Please, sir, I cannot tell. It was the battle of whatever, So if it's Hastings, it's obviously 1066. So you type in there on the blackboard before he comes into the room 1066, and then they'll give you the code. Once you've done that, you've got to. I can't remember now. I think you've got to. Or it might give you a letter or a number or something. And what you have to do is you have to go onto a blackboard and type in the code for what it is. I think it's a mixture of the letters or whatever it is. And once you've done that, you've then got to knock the shields off again. So turn all the shields off from flashing. Once you've done that, you then go up to the headmaster's office, go up to the thing, and then get your report from that particular thing, So, I'll show you. Because he says, "Do you want to put in your own names?" No. And the other thing as well is what you sometimes get is through the playtime, when it's playtime in the game, you get various different things to do. It's like sometimes it might be the bully who just walked past there. He's called Angel Face. Oh, Einstein's the thing, by the way, the clever one. But sometimes it'll say bully's got mumps or whatever it is. So it says make sure that he doesn't touch you at playtime. Because if he touches you at playtime, that's it. You basically get expelled. You kick you out from school and says, you know, you've got to not come back. You get things where this character, he's the tearaway. He's called Boy Wonder. Oops, I missed them there. I'm trying to get him for that bit. But basically what it is, Boy Wonder, it says he's hidden a pea shooter with your name on it in the fire escape. There we go. So I've just been got told off now by the headmaster because I've been in a place where I shouldn't have been. Now these ones, oops. And I need to do that again. So doing that, it does the thing where it shows you the, you know, obviously if I go up to the teacher, if I sit on the floor, straight away, get off the floor. And it says, you're not a kangaroo. And then catapults a feet in. So there's all sorts of different things that you're allowed to do and not to do, you know. You're allowed to do basically anything you want to as long as you don't get caught. And again, that bit there, look. So Einstein's got the lines, but you get a score for that. So if Einstein or the bully, who's called Angel Face, he's just down there, if he gets lines, or either of them two, you get points for him instead. So you get the lines that they get as points. So there I've got 15,000 score already. And you also get a point if you hit the bully. So it's like, you know, hit the bully if you dare. And they see there, it's just gone up. Jumping on his head obviously doesn't give any more points. But that's basically the game, which is, you know, it's a fun game, really good playable, and I've spent hours on it. If you're not quite sure about the years of various battles, then the teacher, I wish I could remember his name. It'll probably come up in a minute. Basically says what happened or what year was the Battle of Bannockburn or something like that. You know, and it'll say, please sir, I can't tell as it was da-da-da. So I used to write all the years of whatever the battles were, you know, along with the year. What was his name now? Boogeyman. I'll remember in a bit. Okay, so that's that game. Okay, I forgot to mention that game, the School Days, was created by Microsphere, and they did produce some really, really good games. This one, which also they did, was the follow-on from School Days. It was called Back to School. This one was a lot more complicated than the other one. Again, you still control the same characters, Eric. But in this one, it was a much bigger school, and there was also girls in this one as well. And there, in front of that girl there, that's the tall one, that's Haley, that's your girlfriend. So if you end up with like quite a few lines, you can go to her, give her a kiss, and she will do those lines for you, or some of them, which she'll do 1,000 lines every time you give her a kiss. However, you do a certain point, and she just gets fed up with doing the lines for you, so she punches you. So you're thinking, oh, right. There was a little bike on there, which is used once you get to the certain part of the game. And what you do is the idea is you've got to sort of do various tasks throughout the game, like collecting a frog, putting it on top of the girls, in the girls' school, stealing the wine from the female headmistress's office, putting it in there because you get like water pistols to fill that up. You also get stink bombs because you have to use them to open the windows so that you can actually escape to go to the other school. There's also mice that you can use, and you can release the mice so that if you're trying to do stuff and you want the teachers to stop and all the children to, stop the head teacher from chasing you, you can use them and capture them, you know, release them in there, and the girls and the headmistress jumps up and down, and it's a really fun game. I'm not going to bother playing this one though because it does take quite a long time. One of the amusing things is that you get to the part where it says assembly, and when it's assembly, it says you're all in detention until I find out who. And there's various things like who blew up the head boy, or you know, who ate the school cat, or something. It's just random things like that, and it's just really crackers, you know. But it's good. It's a really good game. But like I said, and he's the caretaker there. That's the caretaker. The idea is what on the top bit there, on the top of that tree, you have to get the top window open, and then you shoot the catapult onto the tree, and it knocks a conker down. And if you time it right, which is very, very difficult, you can time it so that it knocks the caretaker unconscious. You use that bike to go to the school or drop it off first off. You use the water pistol to get to the side and get the wine and everything else. It's very complicated. It's difficult to do, but I have managed it. However, to complete it, it takes about 2.5 hours. I'm not going to bother with that today. No, this is just about my games that I enjoyed on the Spectrum. Now, again, this one, BMX Races, this is quite a special kind of game for me, if you like, because it reminds me of an old friend I've not seen since I left school. But we used to go to his house and we'd play this game amongst other stuff, and we'd have a good, good time. This was one of the 199 Massatronic range. Massatronic did loads of games that were £1.99. They were really good games. Some of them were a bit naff, but most of them, on the whole, they were good games. So like this one. This was a very basic one, and the idea was you go across there, avoid anything that comes around. That old lady there, she shoots things at you. If you miss the jump thing, you crash, and it makes that silly annoying noise. Very, 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 very basic with regards to graphics. I think, yeah, you crash you just totally crash. It's one of them games. It's alright. Sound is playable for quite a bit. Another, the time in 199 weren't a lot of money. You get little coloured thingies going on like that, which quite nice. Here's another nice game. Bobby Bearing. Bobby Bearing was a very simple game. You just went through a maze, doing different things. How did I get this one? Not a clue what you do on here. I don't even know if this is actually working properly or whatever. But again, let me see if I can get a proper game working. There we go. So keyboard 6 and 7. Not sure. I can't remember how to get this game going. There we go. So this one you control. All right. So you have 4 keys: P and L, or anything on the P and L row. The third row from the bottom would go up, or to the upright. Sorry. The one on the second row up used to go down left like that, and then Z and X used to go either way. The controls were fantastic. The sound, was very simple, if you like, because Spectrums didn't really have a lot of good sound. I mean, like I said, for what it was, go down there and you think, oh no, that's no good. Now, I'm not quite sure what's happening there. That's a bit strange. I've not seen that before. But again, it could be something wrong. I don't know. Now, this was one of my favourite games in the arcades, Paperboy. Absolutely loved Paperboy. The handlebars, controlling it, press a little button at the back to shoot the papers. Superb. And then when I found out it was coming on the Spectrum, I was like, oh, wow. I bought magazines that had articles in it. I bought all sorts of stuff. However, when you see this, it's like the keyboard. Now I think, well, what's that tuned from? Not a clue. No idea. It starts off Monday. And there was basically two speeds of scrolling. Slow. Oops. And they forgot what the keys were then. And you think, oh yeah. But you can't sort of just keep hitting it and getting loads like that. Like when the old one used to be able to do loads at a time. If you want to do loads, you have to hold the button down. And for the Spectrum, it was never going to be graphically good like the arcade machine. Again, the colours let the Spectrum down, and they always did. Most of the games are monochrome. But I seriously think they could have done a bit better than this. Small thing, scrolling. It was disappointing. I enjoyed playing it because I like the arcade machine. But ultimately, it was a disappointing game. But I've got to include it in here just to show you what it looked like. Console version, some were absolutely superb. And the Mega Drive one especially. The Mega Drive one of this version was really good. But not talking about consoles, Spectrums. Okay, now another of my favourite games, in the arcades was Pac-Land. Absolutely love Pac-Land. Then thought it was coming out on here, and I didn't buy the original because I'd read some reviews saying it wasn't very good. I played the Commodore 64 version, and that was quite good. However, when you look at this, you think, well, I can't go anywhere. So you have to jump, which is not very obvious in the first bit. And then, the whole point of the PacMan arcade was, scrolling. This didn't have scrolling. It was extremely, extremely disappointing. And it was possible, and like the other thing you can't do, you can't slow down in the middle of the jump. Like you could in the arcade, you could slow down, go back the other way or whatever. Okay, so it proved me wrong. But I think it's if you're running fast. So again, jump up, you have to jump over the thing there. So how do you get past that bit? Not sure. I'll not dwell on this one too much though, because this was one of the poor games I meant. Okay, this is one of the better conversions of the on the spectrum of pretty much, in my opinion, of any arcade game. Green Beret. Absolutely love this one. The graphics are great on it. The colours are great. The gameplay is superb. And it's the right mixture of being tricky and difficult, but not that difficult that you can't complete it. Although I've not actually completed it yet. But this actually had an extra level to the arcade. The arcade machine only had 3 levels. This version actually had 4. And I really, really like this game. Like I said, the graphics, I remember seeing the review in the magazine once, and I thought, that looks really good. And obviously in the arcade, you had to keep tapping the button, and that also the Commodore 64 version, to do the stab bit. And probably not very appropriate these days, really, but having said that, things weren't like they were these days as they were then. So that's Green Beret. Okay, now this game, Cobra, I don't think I ever watched the film. I never watched the film. But when I saw the graphics of the game, I'm thinking, ooh, this is pretty good. So, let's unpause the game. And what I've done is obviously I've turned the sound off on this one. So we'll do the keyboard. In fact, I can't remember what the keys are. I don't know if I've got to set them up, but hey. I mean, luckily, most of the keys, excuse me, most of the games were either Q and A, left and right, and then Q and A, up and down, O and P, left and right, and then usually the letter M, or the M key rather, that used to hit, punch, or whatever. So, this game, no, I'm not doing too good at this one. The idea of the game, though, is that you've got to run across, you get sort of things to kill the enemies with, whether it be guns, whatever. And then, so like this one, what's this one? I don't know. But the comedy in this one was really good as well, because this people say, no, they spelt score wrong, but that was the whole idea of the game. It was meant to be silly, not to be taken seriously. And then you get the lady here. So whenever you've got her, it's a bit like a sort of like a spare life type thing. Until something gets you like that. And then when it gets you, like the baddies get you or shoot you, she disappears. Because theoretically, you're supposed to be like really, you're supposed to be love you because you're really hard, you're going to protect her and everything else. And then what you're then supposed to do is go around, get back to where the game actually started. I can't remember if you got to amass a certain amount of points or something. But I just stand around here for a bit. Hope for best. Headbutt people now because I've run out of the other weapons. And like I said, some of them jump up, some of them don't. You have to jump over the pans because they're really a nightmare. Because if they get you, they sort of make you shudder for a little bit. And if that happens, then the enemies get to you then. Oh, so as you can see, I'm not doing very well. But like I said, the colours on it are really good. Graphics are good. The gameplay is okay, but the only problem you have is that you press right and it'll run for a little bit. It doesn't stop immediately if you let go. it'll do a certain bit. So you know, you want to try and jump on like a level. You know, like you've got a level in. If you run, you sometimes if you press it too late or you keep it going too late, it'll run a bit and then jump up and then you miss, which is not very good. But like I said, the gameplay itself is really, really good. Okay, another of my favourites here, Turbo Esprit. Absolutely love this game. I'd spent many times on this. Never really did the proper game itself. You know, the main idea was like your drug busting. You know, you had a superb like a supercar. Right, so let's have enough of that noise because the tune it's okay to start with, but after a while it gets really grated. So slow, fast, map, quick, like that. So what I do is practice. I used to always go into practice, so driving practice. And at the time, you know, you think, well, it's not that good, but it was at the time. It was really good. It was a 12-year-old wanting to drive. It was the nearest you were going to get at that time. You know, it did come out on the Commodore 64, but that was absolutely abysmal. It was one of the worst one of the worst versions of it ever. I'm not sure how many they did of this one. I don't know if it appeared on the Amstrad CPC 464 or not, but I know this one had a really good review. It even had things where you run out of fuel, that type of thing. Traffic lights, people crossing the road. There were people, workmen working on the lights. There were workmen where you had to avoid the thing as well. You had a gun, and the whole idea, like I say, you got a gun in the car, and the whole idea was you're supposed to stop a drug ring doing, passing drugs and stuff like that. And it was a fun little game. Great for just messing about. I mean, you think at the time, you look at it now, you think, well, the graphics aren't very good. There's not really a lot to do. If you get into the gameplay, the real game, there is a bit to do, So you use your map, find out where they are, try and drive where they are, try and intercept them. It's all right. It's a good game. I mean, the only problem now is, you got all these other games like your Forza Horizons and everything else on the, your Xbox and stuff like that. And these, they are badly outdated, but at the end of the day, they're really, really good games. At the time, they were fantastic. And I used to play this for hours. Okay, now who can, have a Spectrum and not think about Jetpack? Jetpack was absolutely brilliant. I absolutely love this game. This one, the emulator part I've run doesn't seem to be working. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reload a different one. There we go. That's more like it. That's what we used to see. Keyboard, Kempston joystick, one-play game. This was when, Kempston joystick started to come into play. Now, when I actually had a little adapter that you could connect on the back, and you could have two players or two joysticks connected at once, which, no, I don't remember any games really, or many games that ever did use it. But what it allowed you to do was configure the joystick to use any particular kind of joystick. So, like, you've got if you did a certain thing, like if you held the reset button in when you turned it on, it would use it as a certain, I can't remember now, it might have been a cursor joystick or whatever. If you didn't, it would be a Kempston joystick. If you plugged it in one of the other ones and powered up, I think it was like a ProTech joystick, something like that. So again, we'll not bother with messing about and change anything. Here we go. So we've got jump. Yes, that's right. So the bottom, like your Z and X, used to go left and right. Your third row used to boost like that, and the one below that, shot. Now, what they also could do is if you held on the top, the very top row, that would make him hover. So you wouldn't. So you could theoretically keep him on this level. Keep it playing all the time, and just keep him on that level. So while the other things at the bottom were going on like that, you didn't really have to worry because none of the meteors that are going on the bottom would ever get you. It was just the odd stray one like that go down that would. So you got 3 on there. So I think maximum you'd have would be about 5, I think. Maybe 4. Yeah, 5. So you can see 2 there going down, or maybe 6 even looking at that. The game's always proving that to me wrong. Must be my memory being there. So then, like I said, the whole idea of the game is you've got to fill each one with fuel. You first of all build it up like you saw at the beginning. Oops, that wasn't very good. And then if you hold all those down, the hover and the thing, you can get it quick. So then, once you fill it up, you go up to one thing and you go to the next planet sort of thing. However, all the planets are exactly the same. There's no difference. They all look the same. The thing that does change though, after about 5, let me pause that a minute so I can concentrate. After you get 5 of these, you get a different spaceship, like I think it's a space shuttle or something, rather than a space, rocket like that. I think yeah, it was a really good game for the time. It was one of the early games. Those were created by Ultimate. They did some really really good games. I think there was an Attic Attack. I think they did that as well. Yeah, really good game. Okay, now Jack the Nipper. Okay, this game was one of the game why I wouldn't do or use cheats, or not cheats if you like, but solutions to games. And the reason being is I bought it, and I bought it because one of the magazines it had the solution to the game. How you can complete it, which I thought great. However, the only problem was I managed to complete it, and that was without even trying to do anything else. Learn how to play it. And I can't remember what keys are, but like I said, the problem was I played the game, completed it, and I thought, oh, so the game was basically redundant. I didn't need it anymore. So that was one of the reasons I vowed never to use any completion techniques or anything like that with games unless I was mega stuck. So if I was really stuck and I tried everything I could think of, then I would maybe look at something like a help or a hint, but not a complete solution like I did for this game. And this game was by Gremlin Graphics, and they were on Cobra Street in Sheffield, and they were in a place called Just Micro. That was the name of the shop, and they used to have the offices above it. And I once upgraded the Spectrum keyboard to a Saga Emperor keyboard, a white one. Absolutely brilliant it was. And I'm sort of regret getting rid of it, to be honest. But I didn't really use it as much. Got rid of all my games, as you do. But hey ho. Now this game, yes, you read it right. Percy the Potty Pigeon. This was one of the games that was a really silly title, but the graphics for it at the time, superb. You basically controlled this is Percy, and he's a not so potty pigeon because he feeds his babies. And one thing you can do is drop eggs on things. Now you see, as you're flying, you've only got so much energy. And that red bird there, the one that I've just dive bombed with an egg, he likes to pinch your worms. Like that, you see. So he pinched it, so you have to go all the way back to the bottom. Now the other thing though, if you actually try and shoot something, that will automatically get rid of the worm as well. So the idea is you try and get from one screen to the other, or do all the screens, feed your birds, feed your babies, and that's it. Simple, playable, up, down, up, down, up, down. The graphics, it looks like a pigeon when it's flying. I'm not sure if that looks like a pigeon or not, but I think if the spider gets you, yeah, you see you dive, feet up in the air. The graphic, like I said, Gremlin Graphics were brilliant. Absolutely superb creators they were. Did some really good games, and obviously from Sheffield as well, and I'm from Sheffield. What can you say? You can't fault them. So, that's Percy the Potty Pigeon. Try saying that if you've got, if you've had a few to drink. Right. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed my video, like you see on this, but obviously flashing about. I've done a little bit of a program. Break into program 61. There you go. Like I say, if you'd like to see some more, I'm going to consider doing some on the other consoles, like the Commodore 64, Amiga, which somebody suggested to me, which I think will be quite good. I'm going to get the emulator set up on this laptop. But yeah, if you enjoyed it, please give a like and a thumbs up and everything else, and if I'll do it do some more. Thank you. Obviously, I cannot do a video without mentioning the fantastic Saboteur and Saboteur 2 games. that poster was sent to me by Clive Townsend because I did some watch faces for him. And Saboteur 2 is actually included my watch face as part of the game, which he re-released for the PC. And as you can see, that sign there, show you the thing there, look, what I've done. So I'm looking forward to reviewing the Xbox One version, and thanks very much, Clive. Thanks very much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, give a thumbs up and consider subscribing, because I'd like to do some live things at some point, and I need 1,000 subscribers, so that would be great. What do you think? Yes, I agree.